So nice to be able to catch up with you again. Tenille Townes, how's it going?
So good to catch up with you. It's going good, thanks. How have you been?
I'm well. Originally, this interview was going to be a telephone conversation, but I was so proud of the job I did shaving my head this morning that I thought I had to show it off.
I'm so glad you did. It looks fabulous.
You see, my son is 14 years old. He's old enough now to make fun of me for being bald. So, I thought I got to take credit for this thing.
Absolutely, you do. I love it. You're rocking it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that unsolicited compliment on my.
Oh, so good.
So, how was your holiday? I know we're still, it's always tough for me to figure out when is it inappropriate to say Happy New Year to somebody, but I think we're still okay.
I'm with you. I've been wondering that myself, but Happy New Year to you as well. And holidays were good. I got to go home and spend some time with my family and played some card games and got to be at home in the freezing cold. It was one of the coldest Christmases that I can remember. We definitely did the turn boiling water into snow documentation moment, being
Yes,
like,
you did.
yes, this is how cold it is here.
That was a pretty cool little social video, and because you spend the majority of your time in Nashville, it's not something you get to do very often anymore. The
No,
old.
it's not. And it was really fun. It's always such a treat to get to go home, and it was really wonderful to be there for the holidays. I loved it.
How often are you able to get home?
Honestly, not that often. I got to see everybody on the tour that we did at the end of last year, which was so awesome and so fun to get to kind of pass back through Alberta and see a bunch of people from home, and then got to go back for Christmas. But other than that, I've been back for Christmas the past couple of years, but in the middle of pandemic times, it's just so much stranger to be traveling like that. So very grateful for FaceTime. I keep in touch with everybody on a pretty regular basis. So I feel like I can kind of see what's happening up there, which is good.
Good stuff. We're here today because you have a killer new song that you've got out to radio. And Tenille Townes having a killer new song, I think, is going to come as a shock and a surprise to nobody because we've got incredible stuff. When's it going to happen is an intriguing song to me. I love how you've hit this whole, when's it going to happen for me when it comes to finding that special somebody. I love that you've hit that head on.
Well, thank you. Thanks for saying that, and I'm so excited to have a new song out there and appreciate you guys, and your amazing support lifting up this music. But yeah, this song was kind of terrifying to put out there because it
Really.
is very, very personal and a real and true window into the things that are, the season of my life right now, where it feels like all of my friends are getting married and everybody's kind of got their someone, and I wanted to write about how it feels to be single sometimes. And as I was writing it, I was literally going, I know that I am not the only person who feels this way. I think at some point in all of our lives we kind of walk through the season where it feels like this. And as much as the lyrics are sort of an honest and vulnerable thing, I wanted the music to feel really uplifting and feel like we could celebrate that season of our lives and dance around with our wine and our pajamas in our house and just like own this part of life. So it's made me so happy seeing people's comments and seeing people make videos with this song in this last little while since we've been teasing it, going, I feel this too, and this song feels like my anthem. And that is just like the greatest gift to me. So it makes me really happy to have this song out there.
Well, I'm glad you talked about the way you put the lyrics together with the music because I've read the song described and I agree as a hopeful song. You know,
Good.
and
Yes, that is the
so,
plan.
yeah, it's a terrifying thing, your description, but it's also hopeful, and I think that's good because you know, you see people around you as you describe finding that somebody and getting married, and you're opening your mailbox and you get all the wedding invitations. And when's it going to happen, right? So sure, it's a terrifying type of idea, the idea of maybe going through and never finding that somebody, but you present it in a hopeful way, and
Well,
I think right.
thank you for saying that. I do like pairing those two things because really, when it comes down to it, it is just sort of the fear of the unknown, and that's such a human thing to have. And but I think it I like pairing it with something that feels a little happier too. So glad to hear that. Thank you.
Everybody's circumstances are a little different as well. And you're in a situation, where you've always got so much on the go. You're in the studio, you're writing, and then you're on tour and the whole thing, So everybody, when it comes to finding that special somebody, has their own unique set of challenges, right?
That's right. Like all of us, everybody, no matter what you do or who you are, I think this is a really interesting and kind of hard time in our history to be meeting people. No matter, what your career might look like. So, yeah, that's true.
Hey, congratulations on yet another nice haul of CCMA awards.
Oh goodness, thank you. And you as well. I mean, it was so good to see you and see everybody at the CCMAs. I'm so grateful that happened in the moment that it did and that we could come together in person. That was such I've just filled my soul up so very much to be there.
So well said. And I think you are so right. Because if you look at the timing, we have this little pocket where the CCMAs were able to happen. And I think if that conference had been scheduled even 2 weeks after it was,
Wow.
chances are we might have had to have changed the plans. So to be able to get together and see people and to have it have gone off in a safe manner, I think was a real blessing.
I think it was too. I think you're very right. It really did seem like a little bit of some ordained timing. I'm so glad it happened.
So, when you amass CCMAs at the rate that you do, where do you store these things?
I don't know. I've got a bookshelf that I've got some of them on, and I think one of them is actually at home in Grand Prairie at my parents' house, which is great. So, but yeah, it's so surreal to think about, you know, being a little kid and dreaming about doing this and looking at so many of my Canadian country, especially female heroes, and just being like, that's what I want to grow up and do. And celebrating the CCMAs and the community coming together very much feels like a crazy full circle of that anytime that it happens. So it really means so much.
Good, good, good. Tenille Townes is here, and the single's called "When's It Gonna Happen." This you have your first ever headlining tour in the U.S., which is coming up, I think, soon, right?
It is, yes. We're just about to kick that off, and I'm so pumped to get to do more of those shows. The tour that we got to end off the year in Canada with in December was just insane. It surpassed all of my expectations of what it could feel like to have a headline tour. People came to these shows and you guys sang along, and it was insane. So thank you for knowing the music, and it makes me really excited to get to do more of those kind of shows here in the States, and opening up for some heroes in the next couple of months. And then it's definitely on my vision board and my hopes for 2022 to get back to Canada to do more of those shows very soon. So I can't wait.
Good. In kind of a glancing way, there, you said you're opening up for a couple of heroes, and if I and you correct me if I have this wrong, but those heroes, I believe, include George Strait, Reba McEntire, that you've got opening spots for coming up. Uh,
Yes.
Everybody's got their pinch me moments, whether it's us at our end of the business or you and yours. And I mean, my gosh, George Strait and Reba McEntire.
It's
That's
crazy. It's totally crazy. It's definitely a pinch me moment. And I mean, just talk about voices and artists who are so foundational in the fabric of country music. And um, it's such an honor to be part of those shows. And I can't wait to watch and learn from the way that they entertain people. So I'm really looking forward just to get to go to the show as a fan, never mind get to also play. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, when you do your thing, you're going to have a very good spot to watch George and Reba do their
I
thing too.
can't wait.
And Neil also mentioned there a minute ago that your hopes for 2022 include being able to get up here, play some more shows in Canada. And I always like to get a peek inside somebody's mind. What else would you like to see happen in 2022 for not just Tenille Townes, but I guess for all of us? What if this year goes perfectly, how does it go through your eyes?
Mm. Wow, what a big question. I think it's more love and more like taking in the moments that happen in our lives, I think that's something that I've learned a lot working through in this past year. There's so much that's just beyond our control in so many ways, and I think making the most of today of what's happening right here, right now, and just kind of soaking that in is such a big deal. And taking the time to check in on in the people in our lives that we care about is so important. So I think more of that, and more moments hopefully on the other side of all this where we can really celebrate being together. That's my great hope for the rest of this year. And I'm working on a bunch of new songs, and I've got this collection of them that I'm just so ready and excited to share with everyone. And I look forward to getting to sing those in a room together at the top of our lungs very soon.
Good stuff. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, which it rarely does, your birth your birthday is either just past or it's right about
Dang,
now or
you
coming very.
very good memory. That's impressive. It's tomorrow, actually. It's
All right. Okay.
yeah.
And I recall that based on a Dirk Bentley show in Oshawa that we had all together about maybe 4 years ago. And I seem to recall there was an ice cream cake in a room backstage that we had in your honor.
There was. That was so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you remember that. That was first tour, and like beginning of the tour was that weekend in Ontario. So that was so fun to get to celebrate on the road, and so sweet. Sony Canada brought this ice cream cake, and you guys were all in the room singing as I walked in. It was so awesome. So I'll never forget that.
I'm such a kook because, it's one of those things in New Year's, you decide you're going to get in shape and you're going to get back to your fitness routine. So, you know what? I didn't have any of the ice cream cake, and it's not very often that I live with regret, but in
Oh,
that moment, too.
Paul, I'm so sad you missed out on
No,
that cake. But listen, there will be redemptive opportunities for more ice cream cake together in our future. I believe that.
I believe that too. And I'm going to make my best effort to get my hands on some tomorrow in your honor.
Well, thank you.
So a happy,
Awesome.
happy birthday. Congratulations on the release of When's It Gonna Happen. I know there's a video that accompanies the song. And I have one final question. I need an update on how that dog's doing.
Oh, thank you for asking about him. He's the best. He's just so great. I came home from Christmas, and he had to stay here for the holidays, but he's just always so excited to see me, and it's just wonderful to have a little buddy around, and he's so great.
Awesome stuff. And if people want to see more about the dog or buckets of water in the air experiments on your socials, where do people find you if they haven't already?
All of the socials. I'm all over them. So please come hang, and I love getting to hear from you guys and seeing messages come in, and I read them all, and I love getting to stay in touch that way. So thanks for saying that, Paul.
I appreciate you giving up your time. I should probably once a month have a day begin with a conversation with you, because not only is there a hopeful approach to the song When's It Gonna Happen, you're just an uplifting person.
Aw,
Don't
that
ever.
means so much. Thank you for saying that. You're so kind. I always love getting to talk to you. It's just you're just such a joyful person, and it feels if I always love our conversation. So thank you.
Well, thanks again. And I hope for you in 2022 that there's lots of great days for ice cream. Tenille, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. I'm sending you a big hug and hope to see you again very soon.